All right. With the upcoming strike that the UAW is about to engage in, I thought I'd clear the record on a couple things so that we jump ahead of what corporate media is going to be doing to us by trying to villainize us and saying that we are greedy and we're the reasons why the price of cars are going to be so expensive. TYT did a great segment yesterday about this exact subject, and I thought I'd let you guys watch it and maybe chime in a few times on my thoughts.
The pundits, the companies, if the talking heads, the pundits, the companies want to say, if we strike, it can wreck the economy. It's not that we're going to wreck the economy. We're going to wreck their economy, the economy that only works for the billionaire class. It doesn't work for the working class.
Hear that, analysts? All right, UAW President Shawn Fain.
Nearly 150,000 auto workers could go on strike as the auto worker union members essentially continue attempting to negotiate in good faith for a new worker contract. The negotiations, though, with the big three car companies have been failing so far. And as we approach the Thursday deadline for a new contract agreement, UAW President Shawn Fain countered the repeated fear-mongering from the corporate press about an auto strike damaging the economy. Here's a little more from Fain.
Analysts say a prolonged strike will push up auto prices and dramatically hurt the economy. Are you worried about either of those possibilities?
It's amazing to me how analysts, when workers ask for their fair share, it's always the end of the world. And no one, the last 4 years in general, in the last decade, these companies made $250 billion in profit. In the last 6 months alone, they made $21 billion in profit. In the last 4 years, the price of cars went up 30%. CEO pay went up 40%. No one said a word. No one had any complaints about that. But now, God forbid that workers actually ask for their fair share of equity in the fruits of the labor and the product they produce. And all of a sudden, it's the end of the world. So, if the talking heads, the pundits, the companies want to say that, if we strike, it can wreck the economy. It's not that we're going to wreck the economy. We're going to wreck their economy, the economy that only works for the billionaire class. It doesn't work for the working class.
Okay, here, I can't agree with Shawn Fain more. Nobody says anything, crickets. It's all you hear when they give themselves raises and they do corporate buybacks for their shareholders. Nobody says anything, but the system that they have set up is set up so that it exploits the workers. And anybody who has a problem with that is obviously either very wealthy or very corporate, because the majority of Americans understand that we're the ones that build these vehicles, not the CEOs, not the executive boards, heck, not even really the unions. I mean, we are the union, but we're the workers. We're the ones that are in here busting our ass every damn day. So to hear that we're driving up the prices is infuriating. Let's just hear what Anna has to say about this.
He makes a really great point there, because I think we've all noticed that the price of vehicles has gone up significantly. And oftentimes what these corporations will point to is their labor force, and they'll blame, the higher wages on what's leading to the higher prices of the products that we buy, in this case of the vehicles that we buy. But what you'll see is that the executives have paid themselves handsomely while trying to nickel and dime the very individuals who are manufacturing these vehicles in the first place.
Anna's right. Our wages have been stagnant for 20 years now. We gave concessions, especially with Ford, to help them in their time where they needed us, with the agreement that they would return some of our concessions during the next contract. It never happened. We have not had cost of living, so therefore our wage has been stagnant, but the inflation keeps going up. See, with cost of living, we would be able to keep up with the inflation and keep the same lifestyles that we're living. So I think the cost of living allowance should be attached to everything, minimum wage, everything, because that way we don't have to keep going through this and asking for more money and looking like we're being greedy, because we're not being greedy. We have families to support.
And GM CEO Mary Barra was paid $29 million in 2022 alone. $29 million. Did
you guys get that? $29 million. 29 million. Wow. We're the problem.
Man, I like this new generation of labor leaders. I've been complaining about labor leaders sitting on their ass against giant companies for a long time. And finally, they're up and at him. And he got elected recently, and it was because a lot of the members were frustrated with labor leaders working with management and them getting nothing out of it.
Jack, did you say frustrated? No, sir. We were livid. We've been sold out for the last 3 contracts when we had them bent over a barrel and chose to do nothing but more concessions and little bitty bits here and there. Yeah, we wanted some accountability, so we moved on it.
Couple of things here. Americans support this strike, but only by a little bit. 75%. 75. 3/4 of the country says go get them, workers. Okay, you know why? Because they're workers. It makes a lot of sense, right? So here comes the propaganda machine called mainstream media. So corporate media is going to get in there and do tons and tons of propaganda against the workers. And that's why, another reason why I love that Sean Fain wouldn't take that crap from Jake Tapper. And at the end, Tapper's like, analyst, did you see that? He doesn't even think of his audience as people, the average guys who are working, et cetera. He's thinking, hey, stock market analyst, did you see that? Why? Because the stock market's on his mind, because he's got a ton of money in the stock market. Okay.
And not only does he have a lot of money in the stock market, but his employers are bought and paid for by their advertisers, who are Big Pharma, Ford, Chevy, or GM, all of the auto manufacturers. They need this money. They need this money. So, no, we cannot keep letting the corporate media play out the scenario. We are not the bad guys. And we're going to prove that by the way we handle ourselves during this strike. So, I mean, people that are anti-union are going to keep being anti-union. But one thing you've got to remember, when our wages go up, so do yours. Because other workforces, they have to compete. So it's good for everybody. Until next time.